What's up guys, it is that Panda guy. I'm here again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the Island Raid. We might talk about a bit of the other alliances since I haven't really in the past videos. This should be the last Island Raid video. I might do one more with just the Ruins fight because, you know, why not? And you guys can just enjoy that if you guys hadn't seen that, or maybe if you guys want to see it again. You know, this can kind of be like an archive of sorts. You know, it doesn't have to be some grand thing, because I think most people saw the Ruins fights who were like on, you know, it was being posted in English chat. It was like hours of fighting, like 3 hours straight on the field. So it was quite the fight. But yeah, so there was a bit of fighting between DHX, you know, still right here and stuff, some tower swarms, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk a bit about the other alliances on the map. I think it's underappreciated how much they really do, and you know, just their fights during these events, because I feel like when I do these videos, it's not intentional, but I kind of don't mention these other alliances, and I feel like it's a little bit rude of me since, you know, they do put in their work. I do appreciate these alliances for, you know, what they do during the events, you know, being either good allies or just, you know, good bystanders or sorts. So we did have Mink actually hired to try to hold down RPG. We didn't want them kind of getting involved in the fight. And we also had Spec to hold down Hot, and you know, they did a pretty good job. I think Spec managed to push Hot back to their helipad, at least until they ended up getting cut off by HMB, you know. And then there was also Mink who managed to push back RPG also to, I think, their helipad, and it was kind of the same situation. They both got cut off by HMB, and then they ended up just, you know, kind of having a fight out their own battle. But Mink actually did come back after they got cut off by HMB. They did manage to push RPG back again, which was kind of impressive, right? They ended up losing the village on RPG side, but I mean, either way, I think Mink did a pretty good job just trying to do their thing, cruising on their side of the map. And Spec did manage to hold their village, which, you know, bravo there. They were freaking anchored down, or they didn't manage to hold their village. They got it taken by I can't remember exactly. I think that HMB took it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure HMB ended up taking their village, but they did manage to hold it for the big majority of the island. They were anchored down, man. They were just freaking doing their own thing. We also have a kind of RPG here, for example, just rallying Mink's towers after they came in. It was a pretty nice fight to watch. It was pretty nice not to be involved in the fight. Also, thank Romic for these reports, man. I get a lot of reports from players, you know, be it like other alliances. I used to ask Boone all the time for reports. I do appreciate anybody who does send me reports when I ask. You know, you don't actually have to send those reports to me, but you know, it's really nice of people to be like, yeah, I'll send you the reports. And I just appreciate it to anybody who has ever done that for me, because, you know, I don't mention it, but I really do appreciate it. You know, it's one of those like little underdog things, like those things that go unnoticed, but it's definitely noticed. All right, guys. And I think in this video, by the way, we have already been cut off from the flank, and that's what I've been mentioning a lot. You know, I think that was our biggest downfall in this island that made us fail to potentially push HMB back or even cut them off, was just the fact that we were incapable of defending our thing from getting cut off. And since that happened, we ended up just getting put in a really bad situation, and we just got cucked. We got cucked, all right. But after that, we kind of just build it to into yeah, we build in a defensive way that kind of just builds across on this mountain. We limit how many towers they're going to connect to, and we just anchor down for the rest of the event, because after we got cut off, I think we realized there was no way that we could really fight into this, and there was no point to, because now that they had isolated how many points of towers that we could actually connect into, instead of us maybe connecting to 3 points across the map, maybe 4 points potentially if we connected around their village, we were now connected to only 2 points, which was DHX and us on two like little sides of the map, and that really couldn't have done anything. Also, if a report is too long, you won't be able to see all the swarms and stuff, and you'll kind of see that at the end of the video in one of the reports. But I noticed this in a lot of reports, and it really gets on my nerves. You know, you have a lot of long-term swarms, and you don't see the swarms, and it makes me kind of mad. But I mean, it is what it is. I wish there was like an overview thing of a report where you could see how many deaths and like losses and injuries were on both sides, because that would be pretty nice. Like a summary type thing where you could see, like, you know, not only the rally, but all the swarm deaths, all the AoE deaths. That would be amazing. That is something I want to see eventually in the future. I would love that. It would be nice. And it would kind of simplify reports, so I wouldn't have to scroll down all the way just for the video, right? That being said, we do actually have a tower end up burning here. It was an intense fight. I think this tower you're seeing in the top left here, by the way, was a really bad report. I'm not sure if this is the one, but we do have an insanely disgusting report. I might make that the thumbnail of this video, but it was terrible. Not only were I think there was like a lot of factors that made this report as bad as it was, and I think this report could have been worse if HMB had actually set a range rally. I'm still at the thought process that a range rally will just do the maximum amount of damage in the least amount of time. And if they had launched the range rally, this could have been even more deadly. And like I was saying, I think the reason that this this report was so bad, or at least the rally was as bad as it was, because I can't see the swarms in the report. I think the reason that this rally was as bad as it was a lot of stuff. So I think it was like, just a lot of people swarming. This was nearly 3 hours of just swarming, swarming, swarming. We also had kept the tower not completely full for the whole period of time, because it was, I think, at like, we would have it at like 1.3 mil troops a lot of the time, or even 1.1 million troops a lot of the time. And you also got to consider, with these swarms going on this tower, this helps the rally perform a lot better because of all the debuffs, all the buffs that are maybe coming out from potential heroes. And not only that, you also just got to consider the fact that they are putting more pressure on the tower, to where it's not putting it's not as bad on the rally. So maintaining this rally and filling the rally isn't as hard. It isn't, it's much easier to do. And I think that this just made the overall situation that we're faced with really dire. And I think at this point in growth, I think you kind of get to the point where I think I said this in my last video, but you get a big enough alliance, right? And let's say everybody is 120 million, or that's the average player growth, right? Or the player size. Well, I can't fill towers, or I can fill towers, but I don't want to fill towers if I'm to try to be a potential help on the field, because then I can't run my 5 marches on the field because I have very limited troops. You're either forced to have people who are fillers, such as maybe 80 million lower type might, maybe like 100 million, maybe like very few T6, or you have people who are very big, maybe like 200, 300 million, for example, just spam filling the tower with T6 troops to keep this thing as completely topped off as possible. I think there's a mix of that. And there are obviously fillers, because this tower wouldn't have been able to hold as long as it did. And I'm thankful it did, because if we dropped this tower, this would have been really dire. We needed to hold this tower. And, thankfully, HMB actually gave up on pressuring this tower after we had defended it for as long as we did. Because if we didn't want to get pushed from mid, and we were willing to sacrifice as many troops as possible. But you'll see in this report soon how bad it is. But you guys get my point, right? There was a lot attributed to why this report was so bad. And I think it's kind of at the situation of a well alliance where you kind of need to have those fillers, and it kind of becomes harder. I think it used to be easier to fill towers or keep towers completely full like this, even if it was like a 3-hour complete swarm. We shouldn't have been struggling as much as we were. We also didn't have our troop expansion buff for towers, because we had used it earlier in the week, which would have been really nice to use, because if we had the 1.8 million troop expansion from that alliance tech buff, that would have been massive at making our trades at least better. Even if it wasn't on the rally, it would have been on the swarms. You know what I mean? So I don't think that this situation was really ideal. I still think it was a good fight. I enjoyed it. This was probably the worst report I've ever seen in my life. So, you guys love this. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed, but we did make a mistake there just for a minute. I think it was like Jacob, not Jacob. It was somebody, right? We had another hero pop in, and that was because Tony pulled his hero out of the tower. That almost screwed us up really hard there. You'll see the disgusting report here in a second. And that is about to the video. I do appreciate you guys. I mean, there wasn't really much footage since we didn't do much fighting besides this. After we kind of got cut off, we just sat down, we anchored down. And yeah, that is about it to the video. I do appreciate you guys as always, and I hope you guys have a great day or night though, and I'll see you guys. Peace.